Welcome back to the IBSP. Here's your host, Boxing New.
Canelo Alvarez has another week to decide, and look, let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And Canelo Alvarez versus William Scull purse bids have been postponed until June 13th, giving Canelo Alvarez another week to decide whether he's going to vacate his IBF super middleweight world title, fight William Scull as his second option, or his third option is to pay this man step-aside money. So Canelo Alvarez has to make a decision whether he's going to remain undisputed, fight as mandatory, or just simply pay this guy step-aside so he can take another fight in the interim. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. The fact that Canelo Alvarez is needing time to think about it, the fact that Canelo Alvarez is even considering all of these options, simply means that being undisputed is important for Canelo Alvarez, especially in his next fight. And this is why. Because if Canelo Alvarez fight a guy like David Benavidez, that needs to be for undisputed. That needs to be meaningful. Canelo Alvarez has never ran from a challenge in his fight. He didn't run from Austin Trout, Landy Lotta, Floyd Mayweather, Danny Jacobs, Triple G, Callum Smith, Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, Sergey Kovalev, Dimitri Bivol. Canelo Alvarez has not ran from any challenge in his career, shown that he's a fearless fighter, shown that he's not afraid of anybody. And the fact that David Benavidez has been built up to be his biggest, most dangerous challenge, no matter if we believe that's true or not, Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion, I would be very surprised if he did not take on that challenge, because looking at the fight, I see Canelo Alvarez is well equipped to beat David Benavidez. So it would be shocking to me if Canelo Alvarez turned down that smoke and didn't fight this man. I believe the Canelo that I know, the Canelo that I've seen take on every challenge, the Canelo that I've seen not run from any smoke, I believe that's the fight and the only fight that Canelo Alvarez needs to make. Anybody rooting for Canelo but Crawford is simply fanboys and delusional, and this is what I mean. You want a guy to move up 21 pounds instead of fighting the smoke that everybody's been wanting for the last few years is Canelo Benavidez. That's delusional. You can save that fanboy narrative. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to see the biggest and best fights, and Canelo Benavidez is the biggest and best fight. I mean, Terrence Crawford's an excellent fighter, an elite fighter at 147 pounds. He's never fought at 54. He's never fought at 60, and he's never fought at 68. Giving this man a built-in excuse if he loses, it's a pointless fight. You don't typically see these type of fights. If Bud Crawford was simply this kind of guy that felt he was this great, why hasn't he fought at 60 before? Why hasn't he fought at 68 before? You can't fix these fanboys' narratives and minds. At the end of the day, the fight that everyone wants to see is Canelo Benavidez. That's the only fight that we need made. Canelo Alvarez needs to make that happen.